Welcome to Algebra 1 Honors. This is Lesson 3-2, Solving Equations Using Multiplication and Division. Now, assume that we have 4 cat cards or cat toys or cat tokens, right? And they're worth 44 cents or 44 points or whatever, right? So they would look like this. We drew a picture of this equation on a teeter-totter. Remember, an equation has to stay balanced. We'd have 4 cat tokens over here and 44 cents or pounds, whatever, balancing on the other side. So when we solve this equation, though, what we want to know is what one cat token or cat card, whatever, is worth. Okay? So imagine what we would do over here in the picture is what we want to do is, since each of these cats is the same value, whether it's weight or points or whatever, we're going to separate them and put one on each of 4 different teeter-totters. Right? Well, if we divide them into 4 groups, we have to be fair and divide this side into 4 equal parts. So 11, 11, 11, and 11. And what we would see is that one cat token or card or whatever, 1C, is worth 11 points, okay, or 11 pounds or 11 something. Right? So over here, now algebraically, we have 4 times our variable C. We want to undo a multiply here, so we're going to divide by 4. If we divide by 4 on one side, we have to divide by 4 on the other side of the equation. Over here, the 4's cancel. We get 1C that we're left with, and 4 into 44 gives us 11. Right? So algebraically, when you see a number times your variable, you're going to divide both sides by that coefficient, is what that number is called. That coefficient in order to get 1 of that variable, so that you know what that variable by itself is worth. Okay? Now, if you have something like this over here, you have D over 2 is equal to 50 points. A way to think of that, that's like having a dog token, okay? Only you only have half of it, right? That's with that 2 there. You only have half of that dog token, and the half is worth 50 points. So what do I want to do here in this picture in order to find out what a whole dog token is worth? Because what I really want to know is what D is equal to, not half a D. Okay? Well, obviously I'm going to double what's here, right? I need to put the other half of the dog up here. So we'll give him the rest of his head, his other eye, his ear, his whiskers, his mouth, and his front feet here. Okay? And if I double this side, I have to double this side over here. And doubling 50, I now have 100. So one dog token, a whole dog, is worth 100. Okay? Now, algebraically, the way you want to think about this is, I have a variable divided by a number. So to undo division, I want to multiply. So D divided by 2, to undo the divide by 2, I want to multiply by 2. So I'm going to put my 2, my little dot there. If I multiply by 2 on one side, I have to multiply by 2 on the other side. And I get, these 2 cancel, and I get D is equal to 100. Okay? That's the way to think about using division over here or multiplication over there to solve an equation. Now, let's reiterate one thing that we learned in a prior lesson. All right? If you have an equation like this, 4/5 of, I don't know, let's say we've got a snake card this time, is equal to 20. Okay? Well, you might look at that and say, okay, well, I have my variable multiplied by 4/5. Okay? So I would divide both sides by 4/5. I've seen a lot of students do that. And that is not wrong, but when you divide by 4/5, that gives you a strange complex fraction every year. So what we really want to do is what we ultimately end up doing anyway. When you have a fraction over here, instead of dividing by the fraction, you want to multiply by its reciprocal. Okay, so we're going to multiply by 5/4 on both sides. Okay? It's not wrong to divide by 4/5, it's just more cumbersome. It's an extra step. So we multiply by 5/4, that gives us 1s over here. And let's see, let's make 20 into a fraction by putting it over 1. Then we can cancel. 4 goes into 4 once. 4 goes into 25. 5 times 5, I get 25 over 1, which is 25. Okay? So, although our instinct might tell us to divide here, when you have a fraction, it's easier to multiply by the reciprocal. Okay? It saves you a step. Right? And that's what lesson 3-2 is about.